What's going on, everyone? Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here, breaking down the Baker Mayfield trade and trying to figure out which side won. Was it the Browns? Was it the Panthers? Or could it be the secret door number 3? Could both sides have actually come away winning and ahead from this trade? Let's revisit the details right now because they're relatively simple, actually. It's the Browns getting a future fifth-round pick, 2024, a conditional fifth that could turn into a fourth. In fact, we even have the details on how that could happen. So let's throw that on screen. David Newton, who covers the Panthers for ESPN, but honestly, Jake Trotter may be coming for his job now because he wants to follow Baker. But David Newton saying Baker Mayfield would have to be in 70% range of playing time for the Panthers to give up a fourth-round pick and make it a fifth to fourth conditional swap. So let's not look just one draft ahead, but if you're curious what the Browns 2024 draft crop looks like now, it's something like this. A second, remember, they don't have a first in this year because of the Deshaun Watson trade still. A second, a third, they have no fourth, that also went to Houston. They do have a fifth and the Panthers fifth, which could turn into a fourth, thus giving them back a fourth-round selection. A sixth, 2-6, one for the Texans, a part of their Watson deal. A seventh, and 7 picks altogether. The way I look at this trade, it's Baker for a fourth. Unless he gets hurt, he's going to play 70% of the games. He's going to beat out Sam Darnold for the job. Matt Corral is not going to come off the bench and steal some playing time. The only way I see this not unfolding well for the Browns is if Matt Rule gets a little cheeky, and anytime the Panthers are either getting blown out or they're blowing someone out, he pulls Baker from the game and tries to keep him under that 70% threshold, which the Colts, for some odd reason, never even attempted to do last year with Carson Wentz when they had a very similar circumstance in terms of a possible pick that could be moving up around. Let's kind of get to the, bare bones of this. It's not the best haul ever for Baker. I think, myself included, we all would have hoped and thought it could have been a third-round pick, sort of what Carson Wentz went for when he went to Indianapolis and then to Washington. Ultimately, you look at this as Baker for a fifth, just on the surface, but I'm going to look at it as Baker for a fourth, and sure, you would have thought someone who was picked first overall that threw 26 touchdowns and only 8 interceptions just 2 seasons ago could yield you more. But I think the Sam Darnold trade really ruined that for the Browns and other teams going forward because the NFL is just going to learn lessons from other teams' mistakes. And this was a mistake by the Panthers. They gave up 3 picks for Darnold, a 6th, a 2nd, and a 4th. And then we're not going to get burned twice on a 2018 quarterback draft pick. So ultimately, the Browns got the best pick they could, which was a conditional 5th-round pick. I know that there were some rumors about Seattle being involved, and maybe that could have created some leverage for Andrew Berry to put Seattle and Carolina against one another. But remember, right before Mayfield got traded, Rap Sheet was on the Pat McAfee show saying, no, the Seahawks have never been interested in Mayfield. So if it really just was a one-team race between Carolina and they didn't have to compete against another team, this was probably the best you were going to get in terms of a quarterback with a $18.8 million fully guaranteed contract coming off shoulder surgery. But I want you guys to weigh in here and let me know who you think won the trade. Was it the Browns or was it the Panthers? Sound off in the comment section below, or you can roll with me. I think both sides won the trade. I don't think there's a loser here. If you're the Browns, for example, you're happy that you can just move on from the entire Baker Mayfield saga, and Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski don't have to listen to radio call-in saying, if Watson is suspended 8 games, could we see Baker Mayfield start? No, that was never going to happen, so you can really put that to bed. And as an organization, you can start to look to the next era of Cleveland Browns football with Deshaun Watson at quarterback and not have this trade rumor saga follow you like a shadow into training camp and everyone wondering what's going to happen with Baker. No, you get it over with and you move on. Now, as for the Panthers, they got to be pumped because all it took was a 5th or most likely a 4th to get an immediate and serious upgrade from Sam Darnold. 92 touchdowns for Baker in his career compared to Sammy's 54. Much better record completion percentage. Across the board, Baker is a better quarterback. Again, I've said this before. This should be no surprise. For the Panthers to get an immediate upgrade, something Matt Rule desperately needed to keep his job in Charlotte, this is exactly what they need. And Baker, even if it's a fourth-round pick, fourth-round picks aren't going to be lighting the world on fire year after year. So you miss out on a depth offensive lineman pick 2 years from now. Boo-hoo. You're happy to have Baker, hopefully buy you more time as a coach to keep your job. And even if he's not the long-term solution for you, you weren't going to go 3 wins this. You're not going to go 3 wins this season, likely get fired, and the next regime gets to come in and draft Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud. We've got some more trade analysis to get to in just a second, but I've got a goal to reach here. I need your help to do so. I want to get to 10,000 subscribers here on the channel before week 1 of the preseason, which, believe it or not, 36 days away from the Browns and the Jags kicking off to start preseason football. Help me do so. Less than 500 subs to go. If you haven't subbed already and you're looking for a Browns YouTube channel out there, this is the one for you. Hit that big red button and subscribe. All right, let's talk a little bit more about the trade and what it means for the Browns when real football starts. Not Jags preseason football, but I'm talking week 1, 2022 season, Cleveland at Charlotte, and it's going to be a fun game because it's the revenge game. So we're going to break this down in just a second, but we also have content for you guys over on Rumble, all right? Rumble is another awesome video platform service that provides uncensored news, politics, sports, tech, whatever it may be you're searching for. Rumble's got it. So give us a follow over there, rumble.com/Browns Report. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. Let's look at the matchup here for week 1, Browns-Panthers. So a couple storylines to keep in mind. Cleveland, unfortunately, riding a 17 straight week 1 loss streak going back to 2005. The last time they won in the opening week of football, 0-4, 20-3 against the Ravens. So how fun it could be to end that streak against Baker, of all people. The Browns are 1-point favorites, by the way, after the trade went through. So after the trade was finalized, they were like 3.5, 4-point favorites. Now it's down to -1 with Baker likely the starting quarterback for the Panthers. So what it could mean if the Browns end the streak against Baker. This is going to go one of 2 ways. One, week 1 is going to be a laughingstock for the Browns because, I mean, the absolute worst-case scenario nightmare is that Deshaun Watson is suspended, and it's Jacoby Brissett, and the Browns lose to Baker, and everyone, the jokes have written themselves. The Browns lose to Baker and the Panthers to make it 18 straight week 1 losses, and everyone's going to just dunk on Cleveland going, you lost to the quarterback you traded away. I mean, this is like a Moneyball scene right here. The Browns are paying $10 million of Baker's 2022 contract to play against him in week 1. That's how highly they think of Baker, in my opinion. This could go the other way, though. The Browns beat Baker, of all people, the best quarterback in the last 20 years, which doesn't say a ton. Let's call a spade a spade. It isn't a ringing endorsement to be the best Browns quarterback in the last 20-plus years since Bernie, but still, if you were to end the streak against Baker, there would be a little bit of sweetness to that, I think, for a lot of people on the Cleveland sideline. But who do you guys have in week 1? Do not just pick the Panthers because you're a Baker bro. Come on. I'm going to root for Baker in his career and wish him the best for what he did for this organization because I'm not going to stand up here and say he did absolutely nothing. It was not helpful whatsoever in ending the playoff drought and winning in Pittsburgh and sending Big Ben packing, but I'm not going to also say he did it all by himself. Let me know who you got in week 1 down below. One thing I'm going to be watching for is how Baker fares with a different offensive line. So I compare the 2021 Pro Football Focus ranks between the Panthers offensive line and the Browns offensive line. And it's not as bad as I initially thought it would be for Baker in Carolina. He's got a rookie left tackle, Ike Mekwonu, who was picked out of NC State, a top 5 pick. Brady Christensen, Bradley Bozeman comes over from Baltimore. He's got some good tackles in Corbett and Motton. But, I mean, the Browns offensive line is better in every way possible. It's a better tackle situation. You had a better guard. You had a top five, two top five guards last year between Batonio and Teller. No Treader this year, but Nick Harris is going to be just fine stepping in his role. So then you look at Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney. Are these guys going to be pinning their ears back, just licking at the bit to sack Baker? Because it'll be interesting and maybe a bit revealing to see where Baker stood in the Browns locker room when inevitably the weeks and days get closer to week one and reporters start asking, are you excited to play against Baker? And you might get a little bit more of a peek behind the curtain if some guys come out and say, yeah, I cannot wait to sack Baker. Now, Clowney, if you don't remember, was pretty vocal that he did not want to come back to Cleveland if Baker was the quarterback. Here's what he said to the media not long ago, referring to playing with Deshaun Watson. We stayed in touch through that whole thing about coming here. If he come, I come. I told him if he goes, I'll follow him up there. I'll go back. That's what it came down to. I know, that sounded weird. His words, not mine. But who do you guys think will sack Baker first? Myles Garrett? Clowney? You want to go with the wild card? There's been some fun ideas, by the way, of if anyone could take number 6 from Baker this year. I'm just going to put this out there. JOK wore number 6 at Notre Dame. So just file that away in your memory bank of maybe someone who could pick up number 6 and even sack Baker in week 1. Before we wrap up the show, I just want to give a quick shout out to a guy who's frequently in the comments section and honestly may be a bit of a wizard. Poison Pill has this freaky run of some very accurate predictions. And 3 weeks ago, when we talked about Baker to Carolina, he commented saying, trade Baker and a 2023 fifth to Carolina for a 2024 fourth. Panthers are missing both their third and sixth round picks in 2023. Cleveland's missing their fourth in 2024, but have an extra fifth in 2023 thanks to the Troy Hill trade. Browns have to pay $10 to $12 million of Baker's salary. So not spot on exactly, but closer than anyone else I've seen out there. So shout out to you, Poison Pill. Always appreciate seeing your comments down below. And you're a little Merlin. I mean, you just nailed that one right on the head like 3 weeks ago, almost to a T. That's going to do it for us on today's show. I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in, making us a part of your day. If you haven't already, make sure to follow me on Twitter, @MatthewPD. I've got the link to that right below in the comments and the description of today's show. I tweet about the Brownies and the NFL, so hit me up over there.